Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series from Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford. Using Castle Arts gold pencils, we have got our last row of flowers to do. I'm going to be doing this first one here today. Let's come in a little bit closer. We might want to be able to see it. Let's come in close. Oh, look at those pretty fronds. It looks like, these look like fern fronds, but this is not a fern. It doesn't matter what it is though, does it? Right, I am going to do some light pinks. We haven't used any light pinks yet. I just have a little look at what we've got. I think I'm going to start with the grenadine. It isn't that light, but I need a darker colour to get going with. And then I'm going to add the azalea pink, which is a lighter. Just sharpening this. It's almost sharp enough, but not quite. So there we go. Grenadine. Oh, I'm struggling to get it to catch the light in focus. There we go. So I'm not going to do the centres of them yet. I'm going to go around the centre, excuse me, like that, and then gently extend my colour outwards. Like that. I want to get my pale pink on those leaf petal tips, and the same on this one. So a darker bit where the petals are near each other, and then leaving the tip for the lighter colour. I may have to come back and add a little bit more, but I'm just going to get going with this one and go all round. I may feel that I haven't faded it down enough. We'll see how they smush together, or if they do when we get to the next colour. Oh, all my family are home now. Just looking at the time, actually, I need to help my husband prepare some veggies soonish, but not quite yet. Maybe in about 3/4 of an hour. I don't know if that's going to be long enough to do all these videos, but that's okay. I don't want to rush. I want to enjoy them, enjoy my new book. Well, it still feels very new. I guess I haven't done that many pages, but I'm getting through it. I mean, not getting through it, but I've done quite a lot of pages. That's what I mean. Sort of. I'm sort of near finishing or anything. Okay, my next colour is the azalea pink. Now there is a lighter pink, but I don't think it works together with the grenadine, which is why I've chosen this colour. And I might do a few different pinks maybe in another one. We'll see. So I'm going over what I've done and then just extending that colour right down to the tip of our petal, but keeping it a little bit lighter if I can, so that it fades off towards the tip. There we go. I'm sorry, my pencil's a bit crumbly. These are, they produce a lot of crumbs, which means you can't always see quite what I'm doing. I'll brush it off. Very useful to have a brush like this. If you've got an old blusher brush, something like that, you can use them. As long as it's not too dirty, you can probably do that and get rid of blusher anyway. I'm assuming. I don't know. I've never used blusher. I go red enough as it is, but I guess the idea is to try and sort of conceal that and give you an even colour. But I've never really understood makeup, how to put it on. I mean, I understand why people wear it. I mean, but I just never been able to put it on, so it just doesn't look right when I use it. So I just don't anymore. I used to a little bit and try, but I don't know. I just never thought I looked particularly good with it on, so I just haven't bothered really for quite a long time. But there we go. I sent some of my makeup away to a charity actually. It was used makeup, but you could send used makeup off. I can't remember what the purpose was, but it was a very good cause. I'm not sure. I think it was actually, I remember what it was for. I'm just choosing my yellow, by the way. I'm going to go for the lemon yellow because I feel that a more cold yellow will work better with the pink rather than a warm orangey yellow, which I don't think would work. Yeah, it was for women in hostels who didn't have any makeup, so they could use a little bit, which I thought was nice, because why, it's no good sitting in my drawer me not using it, and why shouldn't they have some makeup if it makes them feel better? You know, I know it can help a lot of people with their confidence and things like that. And it was just sitting there doing nothing. Now I'm having a look at these leaves and the colours I've used, and I'm thinking the permanent green, the Prussian green, they might work with this. I think I'll start with the Prussian green actually. I think we may have used every green now in the box. I'm going to use the Prussian green. Now on these leaves, I was just going to start my usual way of going dark to light like I did with the petals, but I'm looking, we've got this line here. So I'm going to use this line as a guide and just do that. Okay, and do that on each leaf and see where it leads us on a mystery tour. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's always nice if you can to try and find a good use for things that you're getting rid of, I feel. You know, selling them is all good, gives someone else something, and gives you a bit of money for them, but that isn't always possible depending on what it is. But now is the permanent green a bit close? I think I'm going to have to use it gently, or else I think it's just going to cover up what I've done. So I'm going to gently use it like this, taking colour up towards the tip. So I want it a little bit darker here and lighter here still, but not dark enough so that we can't see that that piece is a different colour. Hopefully it will all come together. I can always go back over that bit, which I think I probably would anyway. Now we've now got a new charity shop that's just opened at the end of our road. It's interesting, they must have got a change of view. Well, I suppose it was retail before because it was a place that sold cars, but it's quite different being a charity shop. But I've got a few things I need to take up. You know, you have stuff that's been hanging around for a while, you think someone else might as well have some fun with it, especially coming up to Christmas. I think a lot of people are looking for cheap gifts. I think there's always so much pressure to buy gifts. I'm just going over everything with this, and I think it's a shame, really. It's okay if you're buying for your direct family and you know what they need and what they want, but sometimes there's pressure to buy all sorts of gifts. Gifts for the teacher, gifts for the people you work with, all that sort of thing. It can get really expensive and sometimes quite wasteful. Right, we're going to go back to the Prussian green. Maybe I'm just being a bit of a humbug. No, I'm just going to go back over this. I'm going to be careful, so I'm quite happy to go quite dark here on this side of the line, but I want to just gently fade that into the pencil that's there already. I don't want it to be a stripe if I can help it. I just sometimes feel really embarrassed or sad if someone sends me a gift and I know they can't really afford it, or that they've got kids. Perhaps they should have spent the money on their kids, that sort of thing. You know, I mean, I appreciate it and the effort that's gone into choosing something, but I just sometimes think, you know, I don't really need it. This is permanent green. And I think I'm going to do these fronds in a couple of different colours just to make it a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to do this one in the permanent green. You could do them in more than one colour, but I think they are quite thin and I think they'll be okay just done in Now I'm unusually going to do this one in this colour because I don't want to do the two the same in the same colours. Just need to sharpen up though. You're going to need a sharp pencil for this. It is just quite plain colouring. But I'm just going gently. There we go. Now I'm going to use the Prussian green for one. Here he is. For this one I think. I don't know if he's sharp enough, we'll find out. Yeah, it's getting there. I was watching something, a video about colouring techniques yesterday. Let's finish it actually. And the person was really interesting, saying how the way pencils blend not only depends on the brand and the type of pencil, which we probably know, most of us will realise that they're all a bit different. She said even sometimes different colours within the same brand. Now I thought that I had noticed that. This is leaf green like myself, but I didn't. I just wasn't sure whether I was right, if you know what I mean, whether I was just imagining it. But apparently yes, there are differences. She said because of the colour pigments in there, it makes them slightly different to each other. So that was interesting. That made me think, I'm not completely silly after all. Now the flower centres I don't like very much. I think they need a little bit of something. So I'm just going to grab my yellow ochre, give it a really good sharpen, and add a little bit into them. I'll show you on the biggest one, they are small. I'm going to put a little smile, you see there, it didn't come out too well, and then scumble that up. Do the same on this one, a little smile and scumble it up. Just going to put a dot in the middle of this one. It's quite difficult. I think that looks far more interesting with a little bit of a different colour in there. The other thing I'm not so happy with is these flowers look very flat still. I want a little bit of shadow. I'm just having a look to see what I'm going to use. I could use like a cherry or something to do it, or I could use a Mars Black. I think I'm going to use a cherry because the Mars Black might end up being making it look a little bit dirty rather than a bit shadowy. So here is the cherry. Now this is a fussy little detail that you may prefer just not to do. Where should I start? Here. So where we've got the black line, just come just outside it and put a little mark, and then a little bit there, and then do the same on this one, just a little bit on the top one. The top one wouldn't have so much shadow, I don't think, and then also under that flower centre there. Can you see that's made, to me that's made a difference. And I'm also going to put a little bit here, and we're going to go around these small petals on this little one as well, all the way around. And just work through each, remembering to go under that centre one. Now I want a little bit on the leaves as well, though I'm not going to use the cherry for those. We want a sort of something that's going to work with the greens. I'm just going to have a little look on my swatch chart. I think the hooker's green might just work. Where are you? If I can find it, there it is. I don't think it's too bluey. I think it'll work. So I've sharpened this as well, ready. Hooker's green. And I'm just going to pop some here on the very edge of that petal, and leaf, sorry, not the petal, and the leaf. Just around here, and then where they're overlapping here. Just work around, doing each one just carefully. Just on those areas where they're overlapping. Let's have a look. Now I might just use a little bit of this on the bottom of our fronds as well. Just where there might be a little bit of shadow where they're coming out from the leaves. There we go. There is our next picture done. So yes, thank you very much for joining me. I hope that you have a super day and happy colouring.